myself included. There's a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now. And I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. It's really tough to get to this point, and that makes the finality of it all kind of hit you like a ton of bricks.
I mean, the frustration and disappointment was so evident in his face and his voice and understandable completely. And so here's our insider extraordinaire. Shefty gets up with us. Shefty, we've talked so much about what Rodgers' future might look like, but let's get through the season first. Well, the season for them is now over. So what do we know about Aaron Rodgers' future?
Well, if you listened to the call yesterday, he sounded like a guy who was preparing to walk away from Green Bay. Now, it's right after the game, Greeny, so it's a highly emotional time. It's a long, trying season for everybody. Everybody's trying to get through it, and clearly Aaron Rodgers, as he himself said, wants to step back and gather some time and take some time to make a decision. But let's just break this down, right? He himself said last week that his future was a beautiful mystery. Those are the words that he used, a beautiful mystery. We know that he was not particularly enthralled with the team's selection of Jordan Love. We know that he's at the point of his career where clearly he's frustrated with these playoff defeats. Now, again, let's get ahead of ourselves. He's under contract to the Green Bay Packers for 3 more seasons. So they control him for 3 more seasons. Unless Aaron Rodgers says, I'm not going to play there anymore. I'm going to retire. I'm going to go rogue here and force my way out of there, and I want to be traded. And I want to be traded, let's just say, to Southern California, where I own a home, 20 minutes from the Rams facility, where I want to be traded to the Bay Area, where my football career started. Now, I'm not telling you that it goes that way. I'm just telling you that was an unusual press conference. There were a lot of emotions, and he has to take some time and step back and figure out what he wants to do. And people think the Packers control him when, in fact, Aaron Rodgers can flip it rather quickly by basically saying, I'm not going to play there, or I'm not going to play anymore, trade me. That will be his option. I'm not telling he's going to that. I'm just telling you there's a lot of different ways this can go during the course of the offseason, but that was a highly emotional loss, and he, I think, wants to step back, clear his head, and figure out what he wants to do going forward.
So that's just outstanding insight into the options here. Let me bring the crew back in and let's talk about it. Dan Orlovsky, we have done so much psychoanalyzing of Aaron Rodgers ever since draft night, when, as Shefty points out, they took a quarterback, traded up to take a quarterback in the first round. If you're in Aaron Rodgers' space right now, where do you think your head is?
I mean, frustrated with the way the season ended, but understanding that it was one of the best seasons I've ever had. You know, at the 16th season that I just had an MVP caliber season, and I'm going to win that trophy. And so while you're really disappointed in the way it ended and that you disagree with some of the decision makings along the line, you have to ask yourself, is there really a better situation out there for me? Because there really isn't for Aaron Rodgers. You have the best offensive line in football, if not one of the best. You have a dynamic tailback. You have one of the best wide receivers in football, and you have one of the best play callers in football. Give me the teams in the NFL that have that have all those things. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're not sitting there going, yeah, that's a much better place for me. You're 20. Is there a place that you point to and say, that's the place that gets me over the hump? And then if you're the Packers, are you really going to sit there and go, you know what, it's time? It's time for us to move on from Aaron and move to Jordan Love.
All right. Well,
there's a lot of unknown.
I think it sounds good what you're saying, but Aaron Rodgers is supremely confident. The 2 places that were named were the Rams and the 49ers. I'm pretty sure they got pretty good play callers. They'll figure out how to protect them. They'll be fine there. I think the major mistake that this team made wasn't yesterday when they failed to go for it on 4th down. The major mistake was going back to that draft, and they kind of rubbed it in our face all year when we said they were wrong for getting Jordan Love. They're 13-3 again, and they're back in the situation. But you know what? I'm sure Aaron Rodgers was thinking yesterday, sure would be nice to have a number 1 receiver or first-round receiver to catch the ball in a situation like this opposite Adams. Or sure would be nice to have another tackle to step in to protect me. Sure would be nice to have another cornerback to be able to keep guys out of the end zone. I imagine that part of that is what's going on in his mind. And Aaron Rodgers is not a fool. He's been around this game long enough to know I don't care about the emotions or whatever. He said that for a reason yesterday. He said that for a reason. It wasn't just emotional. Aaron Rodgers knows that everything he says gets dissected. And that's why he said beautiful mystery last week. And he said after the game, I don't know what's going to happen. He's got something on his mind, and I'm not sure I'd be mad at him.
I agree. And, you know, RC, here's the thing. No one has been more critical of the decision to draft a quarterback there than I am. Having said that, that isn't the reason they lost yesterday. They had every opportunity to win the game yesterday and didn't. But I think it might be the reason, to the point Shefty is making, that Aaron Rodgers wants to get out of there, because as much as he has played the good soldier all year long, I cannot believe that didn't bother him then, and it doesn't bother him, Ryan Clark, even to this moment.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm sure it bothers him.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure it bothers him. I'm sure it bothers him, and he's trying to get through this season. But think about the things that Aaron Rodgers said during this season, how great LaFleur was, how the defense had come along. He talked about all the weapons he had. Like we're thinking about this recently, right? We're thinking about this emotionally. We're thinking about the finale. It's like all of those people who loved Game of Thrones the entire time, and then all of y'all was pissed off because Bran was the guy that they named king. I bet had they run it back for another season, all of y'all would have been watching too. So this team is good enough. This team got to this point. And yes, there may be some other locations that say, you know what, he can get an opportunity to elevate that team and take them to the Super Bowl. But he can also elevate this one. I feel like Aaron Rodgers steps away. He looks at his situation and says, you know what, I've been here my entire career. Let's run it back. We can win. And if you're the Green Bay Packers, you're going to let him do that.
Go ahead, Shefty.
Well, again, I think we're living in a new NFL here. And I think we've seen players like Khalil Mack and Jalen Ramsey and now Deshaun Watson try to push things in a different direction. And if Aaron Rodgers wants to go play somewhere else in the state of California or wherever it is, he has the power to do that. Right. It would take a huge set of cojones to do that. It would take a lot of courage. It would upset a lot of people and rub them the wrong way. But if that's what he wants to do, that's what he's entitled to do. He didn't pick Green Bay. Green Bay picked him.
Right.
And now he's at the point in his career, with the way the NFL is set up, that he can pick where he wants to go. And it may be Green Bay. I'm not just saying maybe.
Shefty,
it may be Green
Bay.
He didn't land on Plymouth Rock.
This is not Plymouth Rock. This is not Plymouth Rock. We are
Plymouth
not
Rock landing on Aaron Rodgers. Get out of town, A-Rod. I mean, you can go back to Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer forced his way out to greener pastures. Like, it's a thing that can happen. I don't have a problem with it.
Listen.
Let Orlovsky speak, because I think I know what he's going to say. Go ahead, Dan.
But the people you're referencing left bad situations. They left organizations that weren't playing well. This team is 26-6 in the last 2 years. What organization, both like top to bottom, head coach, roster man, all that stuff, can Aaron Rodgers point to and say, that's a better situation for me? Because if we're going to sit here and say he's supremely confident, then we're going to sit here. We also have to sit here and say that he wants to go get another Super Bowl. What team can he point to and say that's the better situation?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is as good as Tom Brady is, and we just saw Tom Brady go to a new team and make them Super Bowl champion or make them Super Bowl contenders. Aaron Rodgers is good enough to do that elsewhere. I'm not saying he should leave this situation, but I'm saying that if he goes to Indianapolis, he goes to San Francisco, he goes to L.A., he goes to Washington, he goes to